Hello, my friends. Welcome to Unicorn Storytime. My name is Miss Danielle, and I'm so excited you're here. I wonder if Anjena is here. Hi, Anjena. I wonder if maybe Hannah and Noah are here. Hi, you two. I'm so excited to read some stories with you guys. Now, I picked one that is very special because it was written by a lady who is now helping to be in charge of our whole country. That's pretty huge. She's in charge of helping to keep everyone who lives in America safe and happy. That includes me and you. That's a big job. That's a lot of people. But before she had that big job, she was a kid just like you. And this book is about the stuff that she did as a kid. Do you want to see what she did? It's called Kamala and Maya's Big Idea. Ooh. Have you ever had a really big idea? Like a really big idea? Something that makes you really excited? Where you say, I gotta do this right now. Let's see what their big idea was. Here's Kamala and Maya looking out their window. And Kamala says, "You know what should be out there?" she said to her sister, Maya. "Us?" said Maya. "A slide," said Kamala. "Ooh, and a swing," Maya added. "A playground," they shouted together. Kamala and Maya had an idea. It was a very good idea. A very big idea. They were going to need help. "Wouldn't it be great if there was a playground in the courtyard?" Maya said. "That does sound nice," Mommy agreed. "How can we make that happen?" Kamala asked. "Well, I suppose the first step would be to ask the landlord, the person who owns the building." So Kamala wrote a letter and Maya drew a picture, and they went to see the landlord to discuss their idea. Here we go. The landlord thought about it for less than a second. I don't think so. No. That was not the answer they wanted. But they weren't ready to give up. That night, the sisters tried to think of ways to turn a no into a yes. They asked the other kids in the building if they wanted a playground in the courtyard. Would you want a playground? The courtyard is like sort of the middle of a big giant building that you share with lots of people. Would you want a playground there? I bet you would. I would. And these kids did too. They had their own ideas too. "Let's have a teeter-totter and a basketball hoop and flowers." So Kamala wrote a longer letter, and they went to see the landlord together. "Dear landlord, right now the courtyard of our building is empty and no one uses it. If there were swings, kids could fly high. If there was a sandbox, kids could build. If there was a slide, kids could go so far, so fast. Can you build it, please?" I think that's a pretty good letter. But do you think it'll work? The landlord thought about it for less than 5 seconds. A project this big is expensive. We don't have money for that. Do your parents know you're here? That's a big no, you guys. Oof. This was not the answer they wanted. But Kamala was not ready to give up. If we ask our parents and do it all ourselves, can we fix up the courtyard? The landlord thought about that for a whole 10 seconds. Finally, he shrugged. If you can do it yourselves, sure. This wasn't exactly the answer they wanted, but it was a start. Can you imagine building a whole playground by yourself? It's a lot of work. The kids all spoke to their parents about their ideas for the courtyard. They hung up posters and knocked on neighbors' doors. They're talking to their parents, hanging up posters. But they got the same answers from everyone. I'm sorry. Wow, that is a big job. Wish I could help. Which they knew meant no, no, no. And is no the answer they want? No. But then Mr. Green stopped to talk. I work construction, and I could maybe get some scrap lumber and some sand for a sandbox. Really? Kamala said. Yes, exclaimed Maya. Okay, I'll try. It wasn't a yes, but right now, maybe was the sweetest word they'd ever heard. Maybe gave them hope. The next weekend, maybe turned into yes. The kids all helped measure, and Mr. Green cut the boards. Then they sanded and hammered and sanded some more. Then came the actual sand. Look at that, they built a sandbox. How cool is that? They were all thanking Mr. Green when Ms. Lopez stopped to talk. I work at a garage. Maybe they have an extra tire for a teeter-totter. Do you know what that is? That's another maybe. In the weeks that followed, lots of I don't knows turned into maybes, and then yeses. Look at how many people are helping out. There's Miss Lopez. She brought the tire for a teeter-totter. You might call it a seesaw. And what's happening over here? People are bringing plants and flowers to plant. No one could do everything, but everyone could do something. Kamala and Maya wanted everyone to celebrate the new playground, so they made another big poster inviting their neighbors to a potluck party. It's good to celebrate hard work. And a potluck party is a really fun kind of party where everyone brings a little bit of food. That's pretty cool. Let's see what everyone brought to the potluck party. There were hot dogs and hummus, spicy chicken and potato salad, strawberries and brownies and lemonade. Mrs. Flores set up a sprinkler for the kids to run through. Mr. Green brought the music. Kamala admired the new playground, but she noticed there was still one thing missing. Look at all that good food. Everybody's having so much fun. And it is a pretty good playground. They have a sandbox, a seesaw, or a teeter-totter. But what are they missing? No one knew how to make a slide. Slides are important for playgrounds, right? But Mrs. Flores knew where they might buy one. I teach at Emerson Elementary, and they're redoing their playground. Maybe we could buy the old slide. This was a different kind of maybe. How can we afford that maybe? But now everyone was trying to find a way to turn that maybe into a yes. These brownies are delicious. Maybe we could have a bake sale? We can all bring toys and books and have a sidewalk sale. No one could do everything, but everyone could contribute something. So look at this. They made a lemonade stand to sell lemonade. Maybe you've done that. It's very fun. And all of this stuff is all kinds of stuff that the kids in the building didn't want anymore. Or maybe they thought, let's see if someone else wants it. And they're raising money that way. Money that they can use to buy a slide. When the slide arrived at last, Maya and Kamala got the first ride. The landlord was impressed. "I want to shake your hands, girls," he said. "You did a good job. You all did a good job." Because a lot of people helped to make that happen, huh? Kamala and Maya had an idea. It was a very good idea and a very big idea. And with a lot of help, they made it happen. Hooray for Kamala and Maya! What's next, Kamala? Kamala, looking up, said, "I'm wondering what the view is like from the roof." The end. Although, looking up at the roof and going up there, that sounds like another big project, huh? That's pretty cool. And that story is true, which I think is kind of neat. It's about a real-life kiddo, just like you, who saw something that they were like, I don't know if I like that. I can do it better. And then they made it better. I wonder if there's things that you see that you think, I could make that better. I bet there's a whole lot. Because you, after all, are one of the coolest, most amazing kids in the whole world. So, I bet you can do some pretty cool, amazing, awesome things. This is another kiddo who does some pretty awesome things. With some help, right? Because it's always good to have some help. Her name is Sofia Valdez, and she is not a real person, unlike our last book, but I still think she's very cool. This one is Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. Sofia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. Just like in the last book when a bunch of people were helping all together, she's even a tiny baby here and she's helping. What's she helping to do? Water the plants, that's right. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek who couldn't get out and about on their own and with no place to gather were stuck home alone. Oh, there's all these people kind of stuck at home. There's Sofia Valdez and her abuelo. Raking the leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk, Sofia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and friends and her whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sofia liked better. The words are all topsy-turvy here. Are you ready? Oh, I gotta turn the book. Help me out here. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophie to class. They walked home again along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and girl, except for that Tuesday when Pup saw the squirrel. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town, over, under, beneath, and around. Ooh, ready? We gotta go around. We're following Pup. Let's go! Sofia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing Pup. Up the squirrel ran to the top of a hill made of leftover junk from the local landfill. They reached the tip-top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Down they all tumbled and hit with a thud on a moldy old pumpkin surrounded by mud. "Ouch!" cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. "A dangerous mess," he said, grasping her hand. The next day, Sophia walked to school solo, but it wasn't the same without her abuelo. "This is not right," declared young Sophia, who glared at Mount Trashmore and got an idea. Look at all of that trash. Oh my gosh. Can you spot any items? Any things that might be something like in your house? Let's see. Paper towel rolls. I have that at my house. Egg cartons. All kinds of trash. The very next morning at past dawn, she planted a sign at the front of the lawn. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. "Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park." Kind of like in our other story, right? She wants to build a park and a place to play. This is a little different, though. This is a bigger problem because she's got to get rid of all of this. Do you think she can do it alone? No way. What can she do, though? Let's see. Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play, meeting spots, gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for cheese. She drew every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by 1/4 till dark. All of those are pretty good ideas. I like the cheese kiosk. It's like a little store for cheese. What would you like to have in the park? Would you have a rubber duck pond? Maybe you would have some ice cream, a nice ice cream stand. Maybe a slide and a seesaw like in our other story. All kinds of good ideas. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam! She woke up when a thought smacked her head. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sophia could build it alone, but how could one girl do so much on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache as night thunder growled and she lay wide awake. Then dawn brought a storm and the gloomy sky wept, and the heartsick Sophia finally slept. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sophia. "For courage," he whispered. "Te amo, mi vida." Sophia's knees wobbled. She felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sophia Valdez went to face City Hall. How is she feeling here? Not very brave or courageous. Poor Pup, too. He didn't even eat his cookie. But that's how you be brave, right? You do kind of scary things, even though they're a little bit scary because you know you can do it. Here she goes. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do, to the office of monkeys, the department of cheese, the division of fountains and meetings and bees, then down to the basement, so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped. And that's where the clerk said what no one else did. "You can't build a new park. You're only a kid." There's the clerk. And there's Sophia. On her way, being very brave to find someone she can talk to about this park, even though she's just a kid. The words smacked Sophia deep down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could start. "I think," said Sophia, "I think that law's wrong." But her second-grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said, "Clearly, it cannot be done. Do you have any questions?" Sophia said, "One. If you were me, and I was you, and he was your grandpa, what would you do?" Well," said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought and she thought. Then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. That's a lot of grown-ups. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak, but her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as a dozen emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sophia leaned back. Then her arm brushed the edge of the old cookie sack. There it is in her bag. And that was the moment when Sophia first knew being brave means doing the thing you must do, though your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. Here we go. Will you take a deep breath with me so we can be brave for Sophia? Let's help her out. Ready? She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sophia started talking. She spelled out her plan, and why it all mattered, and how it began, and once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play, and other things for ideas they could do to help the town elders and other folks, too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And look at all of these awesome ideas. "All right," cried the mayor. "Go start a petition. If the town wants a new park, we'll form a commission." That's like a bunch of people to come together and help out. Do you think it'll work? And so young Sophia got right to work with some help from her family and pup and the clerk. Look, there she is. Even she's helping out. Then others joined in, not all, but a few, like Miss Leela Greer and the kids in grade 2. Look at all of the other people who are helping out. All of those signs say things like, "We love parks," "We can do it," "Sign our petition, please." Get rid of Mount Trashmore. You want to get rid of all that trash, right? We need more green. Nice green parks. All of these awesome people all helping out to help build a new park. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure. Then bulldozers, cranes, and a blue bigger digger. They all built that park. That's how it got done, with the hard work of, by, and for everyone. But it began with the dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and then led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now, every evening, till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They hold this truth to be self-evident, that Sofia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sofia, that real-life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. How nice is that? Let's see this park getting built here. There's the sign. You'll walk under that to go into the park. All of these plants. That's pretty cool. What else can you see? See, there's lots of people helping out. And it looks like they're making it a pretty cool park. Thanks to Sofia and her very big idea. Those are all the stories that I have for you today, but I hope you take the rest of today and forever to come up with so many awesome big ideas. I bet you already have a few. I would love to know what your big ideas are. Let me know, or maybe you can go and take charge of them right now. Have fun. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Good luck with all of your big ideas. And I will see you at the next Unicorn Storytime. Goodbye, everybody.